on the passing of Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu. Let me extend condolences to you over the passing of Chief Iwuanyanwu. How did you receive the news of his passing, and what are your fondest memories of him?
Well, very, very sad news. Very big loss indeed. In this nation of Iwuanyanwu is a rare thing. It's a culture, it's a leader. It's a man that lives with that country. His public life is something that will ever be missed and remembered about him. As a prisoner of our years, he did his speech. He defined the Igbo nation. So I think this nation will listen better. Of course, everyone in this country knows that he was a big name in business, a big name in sports, a big name in aviation, and a big name in politics. But what is important is to remember the family prayers, especially the wife and the kids. Because 2 days ago, when I went to the hospital, I met with the wife and I saw the mood that she was in. So the wife was there for the husband. And I really salute her concern and commitment. So this nation should remember in prayer and see how else it can be honored. I know naturally when we talk about many ways and streets, I don't think that's just what we remember about. When came and died for his people, and I think this is the right time to use this laws to build bridges of peace and brotherhood across the entire nation. And then King David was back and built the bridge of peace the rest of the world. Right. This is what is happening in the West.
Chief Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu, who is a politician, businessman, and currently President General of Igbo Socio-Cultural and Political Organization, Ohanaeze Ndigbo. Let's talk about...
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Let's have your overview of the situation concerning Igbo interest, particularly businesses, structures, homes, etc., in Lagos, given the current wave of demolitions, of notices being served, etc., in Lagos State. I know that you made a lot of visits last year in July, in December. There was even a committee, I believe, that was set up that was meant to kind of serve as an intervention thing to give the whole process a human face. What is your assessment of where we are today, and what would be your keywords to those who have been affected by some of the demolitions going on, sir?
Well, thank you very much. I want to make it very clear, abundantly clear, that Igbos didn't play any part in bringing Nigeria together in 1914. Since 1914, we became one country. Igbos have been very faithful to this union. Lagos was declared our federal capital. All of us, we are called to rally round to develop our capital. Everybody knows the state of Lagos by 1914, when Nigeria became one country. Igbos, in loyalty and in faithfulness and commitment to this country, Nigeria, moved to Lagos, and they made their contribution towards development. Make no mistake about it. Any other part of the country could have been capital. Capital could have been in Port Harcourt, it could have been in Asaba, it could have been in Calabar, it could have been anywhere, but it was Lagos. We didn't oppose it. We could have started opposing it then. Oh, why should it be Lagos? It's far from us. But as loyal Nigerians, we came in. Igbos came in the normal zeal, in the normal way they operate. They came in, they bought land from owners. When they came, there were people who owned the place. They were there. The Igbos didn't come to acquire empty land. Whatever property they have, they bought from people who own it. And they made developments. And every man of goodwill, every honest Nigerian will know that Igbos have played a lot of role in development of Lagos. There is no way you can exclude the role of Igbos. What makes a capital big is not somebody thinking it is my own, it is my own. It's the number of people who come from various places to be there. The greatness of Lagos is measured by how much investment is brought from outside. A lot of Igbo investment have been brought to Lagos. And the good thing, the beauty about Igbos are people who are very faithful, very loyal to the system. Some people, when they come to a place and make money, they carry it home to develop their place. Igbos have a feeling, they say, Ebo Nyebi Kona Washi, that is wherever you live, you must protect and make very great. So Igbos apply the same spirit in Lagos. They develop businesses in Lagos, they establish in Lagos. They did that because Lagos as a capital was a capital not for any particular tribe. Lagos was a capital of Nigeria. Lagos was a home for all Nigerians, irrespective of tribe. And that is the reason why we all agreed to be under the same country. Now, that is what happened in Lagos. And I want to let you know that this is not only Lagos. Even in Abuja, we are having similar experience. And take, for example, when the federal government decided to move the capital out of Lagos, in those days, our leader, Zik, suggested that the capital should be in the east. In fact, he suggested somewhere between present Ebonyi State and Cross River State. That was the suggestion our leader made. I think some other Yoruba leaders insisted it should be towards Ikorodu, but the federal government, in its wisdom, decided to set up a committee that now decided that Abuja should be the best. And indeed, anybody of goodwill, any honest Nigerian will agree that Abuja is a very good place. Abuja is central and has a lot of qualities that make it good. We were told at that time that the very few indigenes who were there will be resettled. And we were told they were resettled with taxpayers' money. We were told that the Abuja, which is going to be a federal capital, will be a home for every Nigerian, irrespective of tribe, irrespective of religion. In the same manner, Igbos moved into Lagos. Igbos moved into Abuja. Igbos, I want you to imagine what Abuja was some years back when it started. Abuja, and see what it is today. Yes, federal government have made a lot of investment, but federal government cannot develop a capital without individual input. I think anybody of goodwill will know that Igbos have played a lot of part in making Abuja what it is today. What is worrying us as Igbos is that instead of Nigeria to appreciate us, instead of Nigeria to acknowledge this capacity of Igbos, they are making hate statements, some of them saying that, calling us all sorts of names. And that is very embarrassing to us, embarrassing even to our younger ones, to our children. Igbos have played a part since 1914 in building this country. There is no area of human endeavor. Is it education? Is it sports? Is it industry? Is it commerce? Where Igbos have lagged behind, Igbos have shown that they are patriotic Nigerians. Igbos have not taken the money they get from Abuja to go and invest in Igbo land. They still invest the money there. But people are telling us now, why don't you go and invest in your place? But that is not the spirit of an Igbo man as an investor. So I think really that this is a fundamental issue. We want Nigerians to help us to stop people who are making hate speeches. The hate speeches create problem, and it could lead to pogrom. The younger ones today, our children are getting worried. I read one by somebody who says he's kakam for something. I read somebody the other day. There was nothing, he didn't talk about Igbos. He called us all sorts of names. He said every trouble in Yoruba land is caused by Igbos. You know, when an Igbo child in secondary school read this, they get frightened, they get worried. We Igbos take notice that we have not. Igbos are not going to allow anybody, any Igbo man, to do the same to other tribes. If they do it, all of us will come out to say that to stop them. So we are appealing to the federal government. We are appealing to the other tribes to tell their people to stop all these hate speeches against Igbos. In 19th century, the scramble for Africa was on. This scramble reached a crescendo in 1885 when the world powers met in Berlin and shared Africa. That time, Nigeria was divided into two: Protectorate of Northern Nigeria, Protectorate of Southern Nigeria. Obviously, even those who did it, they realized there was differences. At the end of that, in 1885, Britain got Protectorate of Northern Nigeria, Protectorate of Southern Nigeria. No Igbo man was there. No Nigerian was there. In 1914, Lugard was the person who was the governor of both North and South. I think for administrative convenience, they appointed one person to be in charge. In 1914, again for economic purposes, because he was then the managing director of British Trading Company, Nigeria was amalgamated. The North and South became one country called Nigeria. Again, but nobody was there. And that's how the journey started. In, I think, 1921, Clifford took over from him. I read the report in British Museum many years ago where Clifford, in fact, felt as if there is no need bringing the countries together. He didn't do much work. The only thing Clifford did was in 1923 when he had the first constitution. But that constitution, in fact, was not even, it was done in London. It wasn't a Nigerian constitution. It didn't have anything that could show the aspiration, the hopes of Nigeria. Nothing. It was not until 1946 when Arthur Richards' constitution was promulgated that then we had the North, the West, and Eastern Nigeria. And that was time when this nationalism spirit came up for independence and so on. Many people like Zeke and all those other people, Awolowo, Bakoli, all of them, then started off. So that's how the whole thing started from 1946. Then we found ourselves in Eastern Nigeria. Now, John McPherson came. He didn't do much. He tried his best to make a constitution. But you know, it was Littleton who actually did more work, because it was under him that our people got the independent constitution. And the most important thing, and that is to show you how politically wise our forebears were, that constitution was drawn by recognizing the fact that Nigeria is a country with diversity. Diversity in tongue, diversity in language, in culture, in everything, religion. So he recognized it, and that was why even the small ethnic nationalities were brought into the delegation. They at a point went to Lancaster House. Then I was young. I was young then, but we followed up everything that was happening. And they were able to get the Constitution for Independence. I still remember we were going to have our independence in 1957. In fact, British government said any two regions that agreed could get. But that time, we didn't get. People know what happened that time. I don't want to repeat it. But one thing is clear. We had a constitution at independence, which was a true federal constitution, a constitution that was actually produced by Nigerians for Nigeria. So it worked for us. That constitution worked for us. I still remember on October 1, when we had independence, the Union Jack was brought down, and then the green and white flag was hoisted, and we became Nigeria. We chorused Nigeria, we held our own narrative, although tribes and tongue may differ. In brotherhood we stand. Based on this, Igbos went everywhere. Igbos scattered in obedience to the national anthem, in obedience to the flag. That is why you have Igbos everywhere. They went wherever Igbos went. They established businesses. They most of the time prospered because of resources, because of the hard work. And then made tremendous contribution in development of all the places. They don't make money and carry home. They make money and invest there. They build houses, they build schools, they build businesses, and that is why we seem to be everywhere. However, in 1963, we had a Republican Constitution. In 1956, in 1966, we had a very unfortunate situation. There was a coup d'etat, which has nothing to do with Igbos. That, to the best of my knowledge, that coup d'etat was a total, complete military affair. No Igbo man was supposed to benefit from it. Historians will probably do more on it. But the fact is that also it is clear to tell the world, and it's good to say it clearly, because Igbos have been represented in many places. Many prominent people were killed. Igbos are not happy that those people were killed. Other coups have happened. People have been killed. Igbos didn't conspire to kill anybody. But there is a conspiracy in many places as if Igbos met and people should be killed. It is also good for people. One thing that is being forgotten is that coup failed. It didn't succeed. Ironsi stopped that coup. Ironsi didn't stop that coup in order to become a president. Ironsi got that coup and handed over power to the politicians then. The politicians voluntarily on their own told Ironsi, because they were not organized, to continue to hold power. It's important for us to know this, because younger people today, especially those from northern part of Nigeria, have a wrong impression that coup, Ironsi had a coup and toppled, and that coup killed, they lost life, and all that. No, Ironsi was a very patriotic Nigerian, a good Nigerian soldier who believed in democracy and who stopped it. The politicians voluntarily handed over for him to manage. Well, of course, that is how military rule started. It didn't start, and of course, people. So that is what happened. A few months after, Ironsi was murdered with Fajuyi, called Fajuyi, who was the governor of Western Nigeria. And of course, Igbos were killed in thousands from all over the country. Igbos then had to run to Eastern Nigeria. It was a very serious crime. I witnessed it myself. And now most people who are 80-something must have seen it. I'm 80-something years, I saw it. So the truth about it is that it was a calamity, and it's a sin I don't want to see again in my lifetime. Well, that is how the journey started. Now people talked about, then Igbos came back, then people, they went Abori. I mentioned some of these points so that people can know and talk about it. I'm talking with somebody who have facts.